Hey everyone, Nicole here with a video walkthrough of the Underdog Tools browser extension offered by Rotogrinders.com. If you don't have this extension installed, it's pretty simple. You can get a direct link, or you can go to the Chrome Web Store, the Microsoft Edge Web Store, or the Mozilla Firefox Web Store, and search for Rotogrinders and download the Underdog Tools extension. Once you've added it, it's browser specific. You go on to Underdog Fantasy, and there will be an extension option with the RG logo. We'll have this little logo. You can click on that, and you need to sign in with your RG credentials. Once you've done that, you'll get a notification saying that you've successfully signed in. Premium members will have additional content on Underdog now when they enter a contest. Those live under the Pick'em tab. So when you go to Pick'em now, just make sure you refresh the page and it picks up the sign-in credentials. You're going to start to see Rotogrinders projections. This is very handy for player props. We've got interceptions, completions, the rush yards, everything you could want here for NFL, NBA, and MLB so far. So you'll see these projections, and then you can start comparing the difference with the Rotogrinders projections and the actual prop line offered by Underdog and decide which over and under picks you want to start making. Right, so this one's really close. This one is an over for us, those kind of things based on what we're seeing on the RG projections and the props offered. You can go by sport, or you can go to see all of them at the same time. So here's just NFL, just NBA, and this works on the over-under tab and also on the rivals tab. So under rivals, you're comparing two guys in a certain stat category with each other. So anywhere with the orange markings, you've got Rotogrinders projections active for them, and you're comparing that with each player. We hope this will make it much easier and quicker for you to go take our projections, compare them to the site's offerings, and then make informed decisions on what contest to enter and who to play. Until next time, this has been Nicole Valencia for Rotogrinders.com.
What is up, Rotogrinders? Dean here, Dean7904. That is the daily fantasy handle. It is the flagship show here at Rotogrinders.com. You all know it's 5:12 on the East Coast, 2:12 on the West Coast. Tennessee time is 4:12 as well. Joining me today, jumping in late, got the call a couple hours ago or so. Will, jumping in, playing the role of Grant today. Grant is unavailable. Hopefully he is well. We'll soon see him soon enough. Will, thanks for joining us. And like you said, pre-show, you're talking about it. You're all over. Like you weren't coming on the show, but you're all over your prize picks. You're all over your props. You're all over the daily fantasy, the world. So you're ready and you're good to go as far as this 10 gamer. It's a 10 gamer, right? Did I count wrong? I think it's 10.
It is 10.
It's a lot. It's a lot going down in the association. How are you, Will? Thanks for joining us. Thank you for stepping in.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Glad to be here. Another day, another dollar, and I'm just going to chill and enjoy the ride with my boy Dre. He's going to give us all the winners, and we're going to keep rolling. But nah, it's a good day, man. Glad to be here. And hopefully we can help a few folks out along the way, help them make some money because, hey, that's why we're here. We want people to make money. We want you to be successful. We want you to get all you can get. You got one life to live. Might as well be successful at this thing. Welcome aboard the Rotogrinders, Grinderslive with Dean, Dre, Will, our producer, Devin. Shout out for him in the background, handling it, working the scenes, being a bouncer. He's our security guard. He's doing it all. Devin, my hat's off to you, man.
I should just let you host, man. You're a much better host than I am. You did that so much better than I could. What's up, Andre? Yeah, now Will has just hyped you up. He said you are going to give all the winners today. Can you confirm that?
Well, I'm not gonna sound cocky a little bit today, but I can kind of confirm it. I got a tight pool today, 10-game slate, trying to take everything down, not messing around here today. Trying to start the year off right.
Andre,
I just want to jump in. Let's make that Will's introduction. Let's just do that normally for me. I like that. That was good. That sounded nice.
I've been meaning to get rid of that. I go like in a robot mode. Like I'm just programmed like whenever we're live, I got to do this thing now. But I've been meaning to get rid of that thing for years, but it just that just comes out of my mouth. But yeah, maybe I'll change that going forward. Andre, we don't have time for pleasantries, 10-game slate, but I was curious. It was another Joe Burrow slate yesterday. You always talk about Burrow. Of course, I imagine you pair him with Chase as well. Did you win yourself some American dollars yesterday? Hopefully, maybe, possibly.
I broke even. Once again, I broke even. Like, I didn't play enough Joe Burrow. Once again, it's upsetting. He's having these weeks. Like, I don't expect him to go off like that. But I played a good amount of him. He won me a good amount of money, but just pretty much broke even yesterday. It's kind of upsetting. I can't win the big one. Shout out to, I guess, Alex, who took down the Millie.
Yeah,
first time ever. But
he was strapped. I'm sure he needed it.
Yeah, he needed it really bad, more than me. But that's for other things. But hey, it happens. It is what it is. Hopefully, I'll get the next one.
Yeah, Antonio Brown, I think, was my best Chase lineup. So I mean, it cashed, but
that's who killed me. Antonio Brown and Ronald Jones. Those two guys, I played too much of them, and my lineups were just completely like. I hate like Antonio Brown. Just get some help. Get help.
Listen.
Oh,
so let me tell you. So we've got this 5-man. I've done this 2 weeks in a row, by the way. And I think by doing this, it saved me both weeks, kind of, sort of. So in our 5-man, I typically set, that's like the last thing I set on Sundays. And I've missed setting that 2 weeks in a row, but I haven't lost the 5-man. So I've played basically all afternoon players in our 5-man for the Blitz show. And I almost took it down yesterday. Well, Cardi had me by about 20 points, but I beat everybody else. Came in second out of the 5-man. But I mean, second, you get no reward for that. There's no money attached. It's just pride. The object of this 5-man, if you guys don't know, is just to not lose. It's just $18 or $36, whatever. I don't know what it is. The object is to just not come in last place. And I had my fair share of last places, but past 2 weeks, I forgot to set it. Have put in all afternoon players that have come out fine. So I might just keep that strategy the rest of the year and keep donating $10 to our constituents. Anyway, at any rate, Dean, back to you for our regularly scheduled programs.
All right, we're going to break it down game by game in a second. Charlotte, Washington, one of the biggest games on the board, biggest total, 232.5. It's high and it's tight. Washington just a 1-point favorite. And for Washington, we had a bunch of guys out, obviously. Dinwiddie, Harrell, Howell Neto, Anthony Gill. We're expecting Bertans to be back. And this doesn't seem important or whatever, but like one of the actual guards for Washington, a potential backup point guard, Tremont Waters has just entered the health and safety protocols. And Bradley Beal has basically been acting as the de facto point guard, playing 40 minutes or so. And this is the perfect storm where he's going to have the ball in his hand a ton against a team that's awesome to have your ball in hand, the ball in your hands against. Charlotte plays very fast. They're awful defensively. Just coming hot right out the gate here, Andre. Bradley Beal, for me, I think is my highest, my favorite big spend stud on the slate. When you consider all the, the context of it. Do you agree? 10.4K on DK, even on FanDuel, he's at a better price. For me, Bradley Beal is just such a good play. The only tricky part is it's the first game at 7:00. You're locking in a bunch of salary early, but I think I just think it's such an awesome spot.
Oh no, I completely agree with you. He's not. He's going to be probably one of my highest owned top end plays for sure. But I don't know about maybe not the highest, but he should be. Let's go that Tremont Water news because he was a backup point guard, so that means they have one less body now. And they're down to they have Yeah, every one of them is in protocol. So they don't really have a backup point guard. So he's gonna be playing a lot of the game. That means I also like Kyle Kuzma a lot more though in the slate too. Kyle Kuzma, I think, is someone else who's probably gonna have to handle the ball a little bit more now, bring it up. So even at AK or DK, I think he's a fantastic play at this point. And then Gafford, obviously, there's no more need to say about him going against in this matchup going against Charlotte. You just got to play him. And obviously, you can always play the guy, KCP, who I think is a fantastic play today. These guys are going to all have to play a lot of minutes, so I expect a big game. This, to me, is the highest total on the slate that we have, if I'm correct. So, to me, this is a perfect game stack and a perfect storm.
Taking a peek at the ownership for what it's worth, obviously this stuff will change and it will reflect. It's on your screen right now. Devin's going to throw it up there for the people. Looking at DK specifically, we have Beal at 26%. Again, big numbers for a 10-game slate. Gafford, you referenced, at 22%. KCP at 20%. 38 minutes Beal projection. It might go higher than that. Like, you can't project much higher than 38, but he certainly could play 40 or 41 or 42. Wouldn't shock me. Gafford at 32. Dodge foul trouble. He's got 32 minutes. That's going to happen. KCP at 35. You mentioned Kuzma at 37. AK on DK, which, like you said, you can still play him there, but I think he's 6'8" on FanDuel, better price over there. And then like Avdia is going to get some run, and like Kispert's going to get some run. That's basically going to be their rotation. The only guys that are even worth acknowledging. Will, I hate to just like say we love this and we love that, and I don't like to be the guy that like loves everything and like, well, that's not helpful. If you like everything, I'm watching this show that tell me, thin it down for me a little bit. But right out the gate, this game is awesome. We can't stress it enough here. Do you agree? I assume you agree as far as the Washington side and your favorite pieces as far as the Wizards.
Yeah, I think there's drastic differences on between FanDuel and DK in terms of Bradley Beal. Like FanDuel, Bradley Beal is 9,100. That's just too low. Like he should have been 10K. On DK, he is 10K. I think he's 10.2 to be exact. So I'm in on Bradley Beal for sure on FanDuel. And I'm close on DK because of the matchup with the Hornets. It's really tight. You kind of look over the landscape, and I'm not trying to get ahead, but you feel like Joel Embiid is kind of priced out because of the matchup, right? It's like they should really handle this team. Maybe he ends with 48 fantasy points and not 60. So, he's kind of priced out.
Your thought is that the matchup is too good. It's that weird thing where it's too good, and he's just going to annihilate Houston and just pummel them because they're 15-point favorites there. Right. And that's the weird thing. It's a weird thing where you love a good matchup, but maybe the matchup is too good, and like you don't really know how it's going to turn out. Like it's certainly possible they won by 9, and he plays 34 minutes and smashes. But yeah, just adding context. But go ahead.
Yeah, and so Bradley Beal feels like he's in one of the highest upside spots, even though he's shown upside in all the rest of these games. It's just he's playing the Hornets. They're not playing good defense. He's going to be able to get shots off. He should be able to get assists. I know his assists, like I think we were talking about that pre-show. We absolutely were talking about pre-show. Beal came in at 9.5 assists out of the gate. That's all you need to know about this spot and how well Bradley Beal is playing. I think one game he had 17 assists, or maybe it was 15. It was. Let's check because I want to verify my facts. It was 17 assists, and that was against the Bulls of all teams. He's not getting 17 assists tonight, but I definitely think he'll be close. 9.5 is still a high number though. I think he'll be close. I give him 7 assists guaranteed. So he's in play.
I think Andre is trying to tell us that Thibault and Maxey have been ruled out. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I like Maxey a lot today, but it is what it is.
That's health protocols, by the way. That's interesting because that'll make the game a little bit closer in theory. And then all of a sudden, that's the game.
Feels a lot better now. Oh boy,
it's an interesting one. That's the game that's on deck, and we'll talk about it just because of the nature of the slate. A lot of the best value plays are big men like Daniel Tice, Naz Reid, Daniel Gafford, Ibaka. If you want to go there.
This game just got closer. I can tell you that right now.
Let's stick with Washington before we move on. We'll talk about Philadelphia in a second. That'll be interesting for sure, obviously. But yeah, well,
let me finish my Washington analysis because they're a lot cheaper on FanDuel. Like if I was playing on FanDuel tonight, I would probably take Beal, Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford, and possibly like Terry Rozier on the other side, maybe even LaMelo. But like that's the kind of stuff I'd be looking to do right now, because this is the matchup where you're looking at Gafford, he's 6,100, and you're saying, okay, Gafford, can you get 45 tonight? I think the answer is yes. And I don't think that's a hot take. And it's because I think he can get 12 to 15 rebounds here. He can score 14 to 18 points. And now what you need is a handful of assists and 2 or 3 blocks. And we're right there. So Gafford, I mean, we've got him projected, and let me refresh here. I had him at 21 and a half before. So I still think he's big time in play. And it's just a really good spot, man. No secret the Hornets have been bad on defense. Although the last time I said this, and I think it was on the show, Dean, I said the Hornets are bad, but they can outscore anybody if they're hot. And so the Hornets are going to put up points. It's just whether or not they can stop you a few times to keep the game close enough for it to not get out of hand, and they make their shots. If the Hornets are scoring shots, this game is going to go into the 240s. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. 240 is not a crazy number at all. It's the totals of 233 or something like that. Andre, who do we run it back with in the Charlotte side? You have to run it back with anybody. If you look at the ownership stuff, like nobody is popping. Everybody's like 5% or less. Rozier at 5%, LaMelo at 3%. Plumlee, center is just loaded, so it's hard for him to get in there. Do you feel like you have to run it back with somebody in the Charlotte side? And if you do, who would it be?
Yeah, there's only one guy I can and I want to run it back with.
LaMelo.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of where
I've been making so much money on LaMelo unders right now.
I've been tempted to I haven't got a chance to drive across the border today, but I've been tempted to take the parlay on the LaMelo triple double and the Charlotte win today, because I think that's how confident I am in this spot for him. I think he's a fantastic play. I know he doesn't look good as far as a spend up on DK, and that's what I'm mainly playing on tonight. But LaMelo to me is just he's just too good with no one to play defense really to stop him. How do you expect him to not put up a 50 burger or maybe 60 in the spot? And like I said, this game is going to be really competitive and tight and really fast. So I love it. As long as he's getting the minutes, I'm fine with it for sure.
Final thoughts here, Will, as far as this game, LaMelo?
I think LaMelo's okay from a fantasy perspective. I don't know about that triple double today. I don't know. I understand it though. I do understand it for sure.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and skip Houston, Philly. We'll jump back to it once our projection team adjusts to the Philadelphia situation. Of course, if you guys have just joined us, you missed it. Thibault is going to be out tonight as well as Maxey. So what do you have, Will?
Man, I was going through a first half prop bill, and they pulled Embiid and Toby Harris, and I forgot.
Be quick, man. You got
no. I was in the middle of it, before we got on the show, and I do have one in already, right? But I'm always, I got multiple bills I got to get through, and then I looked at my screen just now and said, God dang it, I didn't get that prop in, and they've already pulled Embiid and Tobias Harris. But they'll bring them back.
If you were in the prop shop, there's this place where you can go where people drop information really, really quickly. If you were in the prop shop right now, I believe it's named after you, maybe you would have got that information slightly quicker. Like the seconds matter.
It's all good, man. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. No big deal. I've already got them locked and loaded. So I just wanted to get some more.
Memphis, Brooklyn, 228 is the total. Brooklyn is currently a 7-point favorite. Brooklyn pretty healthy. Kyrie's out, but I think he's expected to come back on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. That is correct, Dean. Wednesday.
Yeah, and supposedly Klay Thompson's expected to come back Sunday, I want to say. The 8th, I think is the date. That sounds like Sunday.
Can I say this? Man, I know we got 10 games. What I will say is this. Golden State has been cutting butt. I watched them play Utah on Saturday. I watched the game. No Draymond. Jordan Poole barely played. I think he played a few minutes. Otto Porter played 30 minutes. I mean, they look good. I mean, they really look like the Golden State team of old where everybody thought Curry was some scrub. Curry's playing fantastic. And they don't even have their second best player in there. Andrew Wiggins was out for a while. A bunch of other guys. And they just keep winning. I mean, it's insane, really. Like they're a really good team, and they have this odd collection of guys, right? Everybody thought Andrew Wiggins wasn't going to get there, and look, he's playing really good basketball for that team, really good basketball, and they're going to need him to go deep into the playoffs. I think they're coming out of the West. Like it's not the Lakers, it's Golden State and either Utah or Phoenix again, in the Western Conference Finals. And I still don't trust Utah. I said this last year. I still don't trust them.
Same.
I think it's Phoenix or Golden State coming out of the West. It's definitely
Milwaukee
not
out of the East, by the way. It's Milwaukee out of the East.
Well, I'm not settling in on the East right now, but in the West, I'm telling you. And in my opinion, right now, I think it's Golden State. Anyway, story for another day.
We can story another day, but I don't know. Like I like Golden State to go out the West too, but LeBron at center, that's scary. That changes everything for that team.
Man, it doesn't change anything for me. If Westbrook still not going to hit shots. Look, when Malik
You're
Monk
the last Laker believer, Andre. You're the last one.
Wait, listen. When Malik Monk has to start, you know your shooting is bad. Malik Monk has to start for them to keep offense on this team. And I don't have anything against Malik Monk. I'm just saying. Anyway, Dean, keep this show on the rails. Keep this show on the rails.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts, but we don't have time for this, unfortunately. Memphis, Brooklyn. Memphis side is they are depleted for sure. Brooks out, Melton still out, Tillman out, Contra out, and then slow-mo. They added Kyle Anderson. He's out as well too. So Memphis is extremely thin. As far as the Brooklyn side, they're pretty healthy. The only one they're missing right now, or questionably missing, is LaMarcus Aldridge. He's got that questionable tag with his foot. Oh, he's officially out. That just happened. Did I miss it?
Ooh-wee. Well, guess what that means, folks.
I mean, is Claxton that? This is a good. There's already so much value with the big men. How much is Claxton?
Claxton is expensive.
And is Blake going to get enough minutes? Like to me, are these guys going to be better than Naz Reid? Are they going to be better than Gafford? Are they going to be better than what's that?
Claxton is 5K against Memphis. He can have a 30-point game, but I don't know if that's enough. Yeah,
my original thought as far as Brooklyn was just like it's the two studs and that's that. Like I don't care about anything else. Essentially, I'm not going to sit here. There's going to be one other guy that probably does okay, but like we're not paying 6.1K for Patty Mills. I don't think when both Harden and Durant are playing.
Claxton, I will say James Harden is the play of the day, in my opinion.
Okay, why is he the play of the day today?
Because he's going to get virtually no ownership today with all these other things happening. I don't look now. James Harden is pretty much cranking out 70 fantasy points every game. Yeah, and nobody's talking about it. It's like this secret. He's priced up, so we just don't want to play him. They're playing Memphis. Listen, he's playing 38 to 40 minutes a game because Memphis is going to stay in this game. And what I'm even more impressed with is the fact that the field goal attempts, are now back up through the roof. Pretty much 20 plus every game. The free throw attempts are also up. He's on triple-double alert every game now. Like, this is the James Harden we were hoping would come to Brooklyn, and he's there now. And we're just not going to play him. James Harden should have been 12K 2 games ago, and he's still under 11K on both sites, Dean. Not one site, not two, not one, both sites. He's still under 12K. If this was Jokic, he would have been 12K to start the season. I'm joking, but James Harden is like the tournament player of the day, in my opinion. Since we're on that game, might as well.
He's going to get ownership. Like he's going to be heavily owned. Just like, so as far as tournament sneaky.
What do you mean sneaky. Heavily owned?
What do I mean? He's going to get 24% ownership on DK.
Okay, what is he on FanDuel?
He's not that high. Like I wish
I saw 13.
I saw
13 and a half on FanDuel.
Plug him in. Plug him in. I mean, you can still play Bradley Beal. You can still like Harden tonight. To me, is great leverage over the field. Not just in terms of ownership, even though it is that. it's going to give you kind of a different salary or a different bill, because I think people they're just not getting to him on FanDuel. I love Harden today. Love Harden today. I don't really want to play KD, but I love Harden.
I would add that Memphis is without a lot of their wing defenders. Melton, Anderson, Tillman on the inside, Brooks on the outside. They're playing some guys that they don't normally play a ton. And this is not a team where Harden's he's defense. You can't defend him anyway. But it seems like a good matchup here against Memphis. We know John Morant is not a good defender historically either.
Hey, Dean. Hey, don't talk about John now, because John's in the pool too. I think Dre knows where
we don't care.
No, I know. I think Dre knows where I know. But here's what I'm saying. I love Ja too. I think so. Ja's kind of like the pivot away from Bradley Beal, the Bradley Beal salary slot, right? And I'm not all about direct salary slot swaps, but like if you're going to swap Beal for someone, Ja Morant has an equally good matchup against Brooklyn today. Brooklyn's not playing defense either, which is why James Harden keeps playing 40 minutes. They need him on the floor to keep up so they can win games. Ja and Harden today, I like both of them. I mean, they're fantastic. Fantastic.
He's been awesome stepping up in the absence of guys like Brooks and guys like Melton and now Anderson as well too. So Ja, if this game stays close, it's probably because he's having a fabulous game. Bain potentially banging a bunch of threes as well. It is the front half of a back-to-back for Memphis, so if it gets ugly, they might pull them early. That's worst case scenario, but that doesn't matter. You're playing for the top. You're playing for optimal stuff. Andre, what are your thoughts as far as the runbacks on the Memphis side?
Memphis, I definitely love getting the job tonight. If I'm playing Harden, I'm like, this is another game stack situation where I could do. If I'm running Harden, I'm definitely running back with like someone from Memphis, John Morant or Desmond Baby, my first priorities to get in. But if you, especially on DK, but if you want to save salary a little bit, then you can get to Tyus Jones, who I think is a phenomenal cheap value play that we have today, who's not getting he's getting a little bit of ownership, but not getting as high ownership as I think he should. I think he has a chance for a big spot because, like I said, Brooklyn does not play defense today, really. And Brandon Clark at 3.8 is a sneaky play, especially now that Market is out. So he's going to probably get I can see him playing 25 minutes and having an upside of 30 to 35 fantasy points in this matchup, maybe even more, because it's going to be fast and the rebounding opportunity would be there, and there'll be a lot of smaller guys there too on the court. So Brandon Clark to me is a phenomenal spot, but John Morant would be the top play, obviously, followed by Desmond Bain, in my opinion.
Yeah, on the season, Clark is averaging 1.12 DK points per minute, 1.17 FanDuel points per minute. And we talk about how that Memphis team is just really, really thin, and maybe he steps up and plays 25 minutes or so. Danny Green announced as a starter today for Philadelphia. Jordan Nwora is out, not a big deal. DiVincenzo will miss a few weeks. Eric Gordon available to play for Houston. We'll talk about the game soon enough as well, because I thought the potential for Green, like just throwing up like 25 shots, was in play. Maybe it's still in play. Who knows? We'll see. But Gordon's going to take some of those for sure. What you had a reaction to that, Will? What's the problem?
No, I was looking at I was looking at Eric Gordon, and I also saw that Dante DiVincenzo is out again for a few weeks. So that's why I said that. So I was looking at the Gordon news, and then I saw DiVincenzo, and I was like, man, he's out again for an extended period of time. Just can't catch a break this season.
Yeah, I mean, just as long as they have him with the stretch run, like didn't he miss the playoffs last year too? Or am I thinking of? I feel like he wasn't on the playoff team. Yeah, he got hurt. Maybe that was in the season when they got eliminated against Miami. I get my years confused. Was there like 2 titles last year or something like that? All right, let's move on. We're going to go back to that Philadelphia game in a second. Just going to give our projection team a minute to adjust accordingly. We got to have some catch-me-up games. Utah at New Orleans, 228 is the total. Utah is a 10-point favorite here. They are fully healthy, right? The Utah side, when they are fully healthy, Hassan Whiteside is concussion, so he's questionable. But besides that, doesn't matter. When they're fully healthy, I don't really love anybody. You can play Mitchell, you can play all these guys. And if Whiteside is ruled out, he will see a few extra minutes, but 10-game slate. Is there anybody you feel like you have to have on the Utah side? Of course, New Orleans, they're expected to get Valanciunas back tonight from the health protocols, and Brandon Ingram is questionable. And every time he's been questionable this year, not every time, but most of the time, they don't play him because New Orleans doesn't really want to win. Yeah. What do you have for me, Will, as far as Utah, New Orleans? This game as a whole to me is kind of meh. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not playing anyone from Utah, and I'm not playing anyone from the Pelicans, and that's going to be that. I mean, I know Herb Jones has played pretty well, and Josh Harden has played pretty well, but I'm not touching this game. Everybody's overpriced for what I think they can get done in this matchup. Not touching it.
Our highest projected own player currently on DK is Josh Hart at 13%, 6.8K. Nah at 9%. He's a willing shooter. I mean, if Ingram is out, I think Nah becomes pretty interesting. Same with Hart. Adjust accordingly. As far as FanDuel, I'll check that in a second. Let me throw it to Andre. What are your thoughts? Are you kind of with me and Will here, where it's just basically secondary plays in this game?
I'm not playing anybody from this game. Yeah. It's honestly Gobert. It's definitely a catch-up game for real because I'm not playing nobody besides possibly Gobert. And
it's just hard for me to play Gobert. And like, again, if Whiteside is out, you might see him play 38 minutes. Like, he can play a ton of minutes and smash. And again, go ahead.
No, I said the only player you can maybe consider is Rudy Gay because he would get a little bit more extra minutes if Whiteside's out because he can play a little bit of the 5. That's about it, though.
All right. We haven't said hello to YouTube just yet. What up, YouTube? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on your notifications. We do appreciate that. Join the conversation. There is no chat on YouTube, but you guys can chat with us in the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord. It is free. You join the live stream chat channel, and producer Devin, he'll be compiling those questions. Throw me a, well, yeah, you're chatting in there. You're asking questions. Why didn't you guys talk about so-and-so? You like this guy or that guy? This 2v2, your favorite game stack, whatever's in your mind, whatever question you want answered, we'll do our best to answer as many as possible before we step aside and make way for Crunch Time, the premium show. Do ask your questions once again in the live stream chat channel. It is free. You do not need to be a premium member here at RG. Rotogrinders.com/Discord. All right. Our projection team, I believe, has updated what's going on in Philadelphia. We've adjusted to the news there. Just giving a refresh here on the lineup HQ and seeing how things may have changed projection-wise. Philadelphia is playing against, this is the other 7 o'clock game, Philadelphia versus Houston. Houston is a 14, 15-point dog here. We did find out that Eric Gordon is available. Of course, Maxey and now Thibault are out for Philadelphia. 217 is the total. All right. The Houston side, the last big man standing is Daniel Tice, and they're going to need his size against Embiid. Not a fun roster. He's taking a lot of DMP CDs this year, but I'm curious how many minutes we have projected for him. I would guess in my head like around 28 or so, because they're without Wood, obviously. He's suspended for tonight. Wood's not playing. KPJ is not playing as well.
They had a little altercation at halftime on Saturday night.
Putting it. It's a quick summary.
Yeah, go look it up. You'll figure it out real quick.
DJ Augustine should be available. Garrison Matthews should be available. Omari Brooks is out on the Philadelphia side. They are getting Danny Green back. Otherwise, they're pretty healthy. Yeah, Will, some body parts here have changed. In theory, there is some value on the Houston side. Again, I don't love Daniel Tice, but he's super, super cheap, and he should play, a reasonable amount of minutes tonight. We're projecting 28 at 3.8K on FanDuel. I think he's like 3.5 on DK. That's one of our cheapies tonight. We have a lot. We don't have to play him, but I think he's playable. What say you? 3.5 on DK.
Yeah, he's playable. The problem is, like, how much are we going to get out of Daniel? He's not going to stop Joel Embiid, and that also doesn't mean he can't have an okay fantasy performance. But I think I can get away with not having Daniel Tice tonight, and I'm going to choose to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if he puts up a 28 or 30, you're probably fine. You probably can beat that. Like, there's plenty of other routes.
He's not going past 30 fantasy points. That's like his max.
What is his ceiling? We have ceiling projections as well too, and it's probably around there. What do we have? 35.8 we have for his ceiling. Like,
he's not getting at 35 tonight.
He's had good games, like in his career, like more with Boston, right? Not so much with Houston.
He's not getting at 35 tonight. I would put my house on that.
Oh, Andre, what are you doing with Tice? Because he's going to be reasonably owned. and it's a 10-game slate, but this is how this works. He's super, super cheap, and we're expecting mid to high 20 minutes. Reasonable fantasy point minute player. He's okay. He's not a disaster. You like Tice or?
I like Tice today. I'm getting to him. He's gonna have to play regardless because Sengun's not there either. So we definitely an extended run for him. I don't know how many minutes he's gonna play. Because they can use Tate at the center position probably too and go small, or KJ Martin if they really want to. I think he's back. But I'm gonna have a little bit of exposure to him. I'm not gonna be too overly exposed to him. Just because I don't know how much upside he has playing 27 minutes. Like if I knew he was getting actually he can have a big game in that amount of time, but I highly doubt it. But because thinking about it now, you got Eric Gordon there, and then you have Green. Then you have Green. Those are the only two offensive scorers. He could be more, take more shots, then he can have a pretty decent game from there. But if he could give me a quick double and give me like 20, like 30, I'll be happy with him. But I'm gonna get to probably like the field with him. I'm not gonna be nothing like too over. But he can have a monster game and get you like 40 if you like. I think his upside in this match was 40.
I would say the other part of it, an argument for Tice minutes, is the opponent. You're facing two true bigs, and if you're facing the Warriors, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like, okay, yeah, they'll play Tate at the 5 more, and his minutes are fragile. But when you're facing the combination of Embiid and Drummond, you're going to need some big boys, and he's basically the last big boy standing. So, assuming he stays out of foul trouble, I think his minutes are really secure. So, I mean, I think there's a possibility he plays like 31. He just matches Embiid minutes or something like that. He plays 31, 32. I think that's possible. I wouldn't project that, but I think it's possible. Is the rest of the players you kind of ran off, Gordon and Green? How interested are you in those guys?
Not really. They're not projecting well for us. I mean, I don't think they're necessary on the slate. Like Green does not provide. I feel like at this stage, Jalen Green does not provide enough upside for me at the price of 5.2. I think it's 5.2 today. On the slate. So to me, I'm not getting to him as much. Really, I'm not really even playing him. Only interest I have really is just Tate. I want to see the starting lineup too, because if Gordon's in there, that's the only guy I might have interest in, because I know he has an upside for like 40 fantasy points, maybe even 50. And he'll be handling the ball a lot more at 5K. So if Gordon's in the starting lineup, that's a guy I will have more interest in as the night goes on.
How much are you prioritizing Embiid?
Not really. I'm waiting for our projections updated, but not with the Philadelphia stuff completely yet. But I'm not going to get a lot of Embiid. I'm thinking about even eliminating him because he's 11.4. He's the same price as Harden, and we know Harden right now on this slate in particular has a higher upside. So I might be tempted to go with James Harden for $100 less than go with Joel Embiid in this matchup against Houston for sure.
The other part of that is that I think the guards are not as strong as the centers. So you could that's even a more, even a better argument for rostering Harden.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
But I think ownership's going to reflect that too, where people are going to be spending down at center, and like guys like Embiid. And if they're going to spend up at center, people probably pick Jokic over Embiid just because that's what they traditionally do. I know he's a little bit different as far as the price. Will, you want to say anything else as far as, I know you stressed how much you like Embiid already. The other Philadelphia pieces, does anybody else kind of pop for you? I know Harris has got a nice price on FanDuel, around 7K. Talk about the 76ers. Anything else for me?
Yeah, I like Harris on FanDuel for sure. And then I also like Harris if you're on Prize Picks, getting in that first half over on the fantasy points prop of 18. Really love that, and love the Embiid over 13.5 points in the first half. So 13.5 points for Embiid and 18 fantasy points for Tobias Harris. Love those two, and then I love them both on FanDuel.
All right. I think we have another potential catch-me-up game here with Detroit and Milwaukee.
Oh,
227. Say it again?
I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's easy. Just play Giannis. Let's move on.
Yeah, 227 is the total. Milwaukee is a 16-point favorite. Detroit.
And D continues to give us all the information when we're not playing anybody.
Well, I mean, I got to add some context to it. Like, well, why are we playing nobody in Detroit? Well, they're getting Cade Cunningham back. Hayes is off the injury report, as well as Jackson and Lyles and Magruder and Saban Lee. Like, they're still without Isaiah Stewart and Corey Joseph, but they have a ton of guys now. Again, Milwaukee, for what it's worth, they are without DiVincenzo, Thanasis Antetokounmpo, and Middleton. Middleton is questionable. In theory, that should change things. Maybe it does a little bit, but doesn't fully move the needle. But yeah, Andre, look, if you have the salary, this game somehow stays close and Giannis plays like 32 minutes against Detroit, awesome play. But like, it's hard to project that. And even if it is like a 14, 15 point game, he'll play like 29 minutes sometimes or 30 minutes sometimes. His minutes get squeezed all the time. I know he's a 1.7 fantasy point minute player, but extreme tournaments, if you're running 150, of course, in your pool, but otherwise, what else? Is there anything else you want to add here, Andre, or just it's Giannis, nobody else?
This Giannis, no one else. We go on to the next game.
All right, fair enough. Orlando and Chicago, 218 is the total. Chicago is again, another scheduled potential blowout, 13-point favorite here for against the Orlando Magic. It is a revenge game for Wendell. Didn't Wendell Carter Jr. go absolutely nuts against the Chicago? Is his first revenge game? I feel like that did happen.
Yeah, he did. Crazy.
Yeah. Now we're on the road in Chicago tonight. Alonzo Ball expected back for Chicago. As far as the Orlando side, they're without Mo Wagner. They are expected to get. Aren't they expected to get? No, never mind. Will,
sorry.
What's going on?
Listen, man, you guys have to understand. So much good information just comes out all over the place. Somebody in the prop shop just found another golden nugget. I said, man, that's on the
You're
list.
Not going to share it?
Yeah, Devontae, and hold on, because we don't want the Prize Picks mole to get us. Because sometimes, man, somebody from Prize Picks is in that chat. I'm telling you right now. Devontae Graham under 7.5. Oh, they gave me my Steven Adams 3.5. Yes. Thank you, Brett. Thank you. Devontae Graham under 7.5 points in the first half. Listen to this, the last few games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. How many times do you think he's going under in the past 17 games?
Andre?
All of them?
Close. 14 out of 17. Gotta take the under. Anyway, thank you.
What if Ingram sits? You still?
It doesn't matter. Ingram's been out the past 2 games.
Wow.
And he's been out 3 of the last 5.
All right, fair enough. All right. So the Chicago side, Andre, what do you have as far as the Bulls getting Ball back against Orlando? Obviously a good matchup. Same sort of situation. Like, it's one of those deals. Like, is the matchup too good? You only going to get 3/4 of these guys?
All right, it's another catch-me-up game in my opinion. MVP for DeMar DeRozan. Go vote it. Make sure you get to the All-Star game and start 2 as well. But DeMar DeRozan and Vucevic are the only players I like in this game on this side of the ball. Everyone else is a little bit priced too high for me. These are only 2 guys I see for GPP upside.
Man, the highest projected guy we currently have on the Chicago side on DK, 7% for Vuk DeRozan, less than 5%. As far as the Orlando side, we are giving Carter with 16% ownership. Then Franz Wagner, 12%. Terrence Ross, guy you can get hot for sure at 8%, but not a ton popping on that side. Will, what do you want to add here as far as Chicago, Orlando?
It could be a Vooch, a revenge game at home against Orlando. I don't really care about it though. I'm just kind of not interested in this game overall. It's another catch me up for sure.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Like, again, if you're running 150, I'm not running 150, but overall, I like Carter. I like Carter to some degree. If I don't get him, I think I'm okay with it, but I think I'm going to probably have him land in at least one lineup or so. Like, we saw weird things but this is a Orlando back-to-back, correct? Right? I had this written down. Yeah,
it is.
This is a back half.
And they're coming off a huge overtime game with Boston.
Yeah. We saw a ton of minutes on some of those guys for the Orlando side. We saw Hampton get, benched essentially. He played like 12 minutes or so in that game, and Tim Frazier played like 40 or something. I'm not sure if that's the way it's going to be delegated tonight. But like, if Chicago's pulling away big, this is why the back-to-backs are important. Like, maybe the Orlando guys get pulled a little bit earlier. earlier or sooner than they would. They would just call the dogs off, that kind of thing, and throw in the the Michael Mulders of the world. All right, Denver and Dallas, 213.5 is the total. Denver is a 3-point dog here versus the Mavericks. Mavericks, this is a back half of a back-to-back for Dallas. They just got back Luka. Now they get Porzingis back on the health and protocol, so he is out. WCS is out. Boban is out. Trey Burke is out. So Dallas a little bit thin as far as big man. You need big men against Denver because of Jokic, Powell, guys like Powell and Kleber, but not popping. But again, Andre, the Dallas side, are you okay playing Luka on a back half of a back-to-back coming off his time off? Like, because theoretically, without Porzingis, this should be a potential triple-double spot where he just does everything.
Honestly, after his comments yesterday, no, I'm not playing him. I'm not playing no one from Dallas actually today. His comments were just like, it felt weird. It was like he was tired. Like, he only played 31 minutes. I'm not doing it today. I think I just will pass on it and just wait for him to get into condition, into game shape. So I know he's been off for a while from the injury and then entered health and safety protocols. So I'll just not stick with anything from that side of the game.
What about the other side of the game? I just our projections, the highest owned projected player in this game is Austin Rivers for Denver. This stuff is fluid; it can change. But we have Jokic at 6%, 5%.
Austin Rivers, do not play.
I don't plan on it.
Making a big mistake playing Austin Rivers, I can tell you that. Big mistake. Austin Rivers, my gosh.
I don't agree with that ownership number. I think that's too high. I don't know. Does he have anybody's radar today? What am I missing there with Rivers? I know he might start,
look,
but
he's cheap. Austin Rivers, my Lord, he can't even stay on his daddy's team. Why?
He traded him away, right?
Yeah, and what he said was, Austin's right in between where he's not good enough to be your starter, but he's not bad enough to be on the end of the bench. He's kind of right in between and trying to find the minutes, and anyway, Doc getting him out of the building was probably one of the happiest moments of his life. Because it is a conundrum when you got your son in the building and you can't play him. And anyway, yeah. Sorry.
One of my favorite Austin Rivers moments is when he tried to get his dad to get teed up. You remember that? Doc was upset about something and he's like telling the ref, tee him up. And he did, and he got all excited about it. You remember this? It was amazing.
I don't, but that's fantastic.
I remember that. That was a good one.
Andre, the best coach voice. That, of course, was Doc. Avery Johnson or Tom Thibodeau? Who's the best coach voice?
Dag. That's a tough one because Avery got that high pitched voice, which is hilarious.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm saying, we out here in Alabama trying to win games in the tournament.
I probably would have to say Avery. Avery's will get me cracking up and laughing hard.
It sounds Thibodeau and Doc sound like they have permanently like they need like a throat lozenge or something like that. Just I guess they yell a lot. I don't know. All right, we got 3 games left. We're actually back on course because of these throwaway games. Oh boy, this is a big one. Atlanta against Portland, 225.5 is a total. Portland is a 5-point dog, which is not a big number because you consider their big 3 are all expected to be out. Nurkic officially doubtful, but I presume he's not going to play. We know Lillard is out. We know McCollum still has that lung. They are expected to have Covington and Anthony Simons. Zeller also doubtful as well. Yeah, Andre, let's talk about this Portland side. Anthony Simons is popping as one of the best dollar-for-dollar plays in the slate. We are projecting him to start. I guess there's a chance he doesn't, but I presume he does. DSJ is there, and McLemore is there too, and there's some other potential guys that could start, but kind of keep our eye on that. Of course, the 10 o'clock games, there's only so much you can do as far as adjustments. There's an hour and a half break after that Denver-Dallas game. Are you in on the Anthony Simons chalk, Andre?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to play. No, mind you, I'm going to play him, but I'm going to be significantly under on him. It's a match against Atlanta. Atlanta's pretty much fully healthy. They're good. They're still not. They're a decent defensive team still. Simons, we've seen this spot before where Simons has been chalky. He's played 30 plus minutes and hasn't put up a good enough fantasy score. It has a track record against Utah, Dallas, New Orleans, Memphis. A fantastic match against Charlotte, but he only played 18 minutes. But he's been in these spots where where even when the guy's been out, he's played minutes and hasn't significantly performed. So to me, I'll take the under approach from him. I'll risk that. I'll wager that and just go with him. Go with other guys that around his price point that are I think are in better spots and can put up what he can put up or more. We know he has a ceiling obviously for 50 points, but I'll take my risk with that and deal with it later. I'd rather go to Dennis. I'd rather play like a little bit more Dennis Smith if possible, but I'd rather get to other guys like Norman Powell on this team, Nas Little or Larry Nance Jr. Those are the guys I'm rostering a lot more, for sure. And Robert Covington, I'm gonna roster a little bit of him, not too much of him. But yeah, I'd rather get to other guys on the team besides Simons.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing when you're Simons and you're scoring reliant, right? Like he can shoot like 3 of 15 and just also get taken off the court for guys like McLemore who just, the big variance. McLemore can get going from 3 and he can stay on the court, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That is an interesting thought. Like if you're not playing Simons, play a DSJ, play the pivot, play a guy like McLemore. Our ownership, by the way, Andre, 49% on Simons for DK.
That's
it's a huge number. 44% for Powell. And there's a chance he doesn't start, which obviously will be a tick as well. On FanDuel, where he's even cheaper, he's 3.7, 52% ownership for Anthony Simons. And Powell, we're looking at 58% ownership at 6K, small forward and shooting guard eligible. Will, thoughts as far as the Blazers? Like it feels like somebody's going to get there as far as the value, just too cheap. And they're going to score, 100, 110 points. Portland, what do you happen, Will?
Yeah, I mean, I think, they've got some pieces. Obviously, we're going to need them to keep up because Atlanta seems a little bit more healthy than they do. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they do have Trae Young and Clint Capella, who are 2 real starters on this team, right? And then they've got Cam Reddish, who could come off the bench, Kevin Huerter, who started for this team for many years and come off the bench for this team for the past 3-4 seasons out of Maryland, Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter. And then we've got TLC, Timothy Luwawa Cabarro, who's moved around, but is a serviceable NBA talent. Has played in Philly, has played in Brooklyn, is now has a little mini home here with the Hawks. We've got Danilo Gallinari, who's been a starter in the NBA for many seasons, played with Denver, has played with the New York Knicks, has played with
OKC.
Yes, OKC. And so what I'm saying is this team has a lot of starters on the team, right? That have started or can start. And while Portland does have some people like Dennis Smith Jr. who have started but not started a lot, Norman Powell has started but not started a lot. He had that big starting season in Toronto, and now he's there with Portland starting. But Nasir Little isn't a bona fide starter. Robert Covington has started, Larry Nance has started, but they could be either or. Portland has an odd collection of talent. What does that have to do with fantasy sports? I think Atlanta, has a good chance. I would actually probably take Atlanta over. Take Atlanta -5 here in terms of the books. I think they're going to get to Portland even without, even on the road. Excuse me. And so for that reason, Simons at 37, I don't mind. Nasir Little at 55. I'm really close to just being away from most of these guys, mostly probably Dennis Smith and Simons, but that's about it. This game, I don't even really want to get involved in this game that much. Like it's an odd game. And Trae could go off against anybody. Like I understand that, but does Trae have to score 35 tonight? Maybe he does. I mean, Boston got pushed to overtime yesterday, but realistically, they should win this game pretty easily.
Yeah, Trae seems like the obvious run back. Like Atlanta got a bunch of guys back. Now Reddish is questionable. They're still without Collins, still without Bogdanovich. But like you mentioned, TLC expected back, Huerter, Gallinari expected back. So like they're not squeezing 40 minutes out of Cam Reddish these days, even if he plays. Andre, quickly, your thoughts as far as Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm not rostering nobody. Maybe just Trae Young. I had a little interest in Okongwu, but I might not even be able to get there because of the minutes he's only going to play. So other than that, yeah, probably just Trae Young.
Usman Garuba, Garuba.
I don't know who that is. I don't know what team he's on.
I think
he's on Houston
pre-show.
He's on Houston, and is he starting over Daniel Tice?
No. He entered the safety protocol, so that's one more big. The other big, the last big on Houston is out. It's Daniel Tice season, whether you like it or not.
Well, listen. Okay, so
it just is.
I shared earlier that that I would put the house on that, and don't want to do that anymore.
Pull that back.
Yeah. I reserve the right to change, being that now. I mean, listen, they can still play David Nawab at center. I still feel
against Embiid and Drummond.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else are they going to do? There's nobody left.
They're going to lose no matter what is the point. But yeah.
This gets me even more excited about these. All right, go ahead. We got to move. Do your thing, Dean.
I got to keep us on track. We got 2 more games. We got 6 minutes to go. We got some questions from the people. I'm going to talk.
But why do we have to go over all these games? I'm going to kick like. Why do we have to go over all these games? Anyway,
all right, real quick. Minnesota, Golden State. I got no one from. Golden State, Miami. I have no one from both sides of the game. We move on to the next game.
Interesting, because Miami players should play a lot of minutes. Just of course their prices have adjusted, and it's funny because Will was talking about how great Golden State's been, but they've been kind of worthless in our world. Like it's just not fun for DFS.
Yeah,
like they're just
it's not.
Curry's always overpriced. They play 11 guys, and every once in a while somebody pops up, but when they're fully healthy, which is that's what we're looking at. Well, Miami versus Golden State. Are you not enthralled in this game at all?
No. Like, guys, I mean, look, I'm not, this isn't an insult, but if you've been playing DFS, we can't play all these games. Let's just start talking about what we like and give the people those nuggets. And guess what? Be like JM to win. The best way to be contrarian is think for yourself. If we don't mention somebody, that's okay. If you did the research and you landed on them, you play them and you beat us.
Question time.
By the way, Kat tweeted out earlier today, Karl Anthony Towns tweeted out like the Vince McMahon like gif, like he's coming back. So I assume that meant he cleared like the health and protocols, but I haven't seen nothing on that.
He hasn't yet. He might clear it. It's gonna mess up my Minnesota exposure, which I really love getting to Anthony Edwards today. But I guess actually you can still play Anthony Edwards. Actually makes him actually better because his price went down, and that'll take actually a little bit more usage away from not usage, attention away from him and being double teamed and stuff like that. So actually need Cat's comebacks is not gonna help. It's not gonna hurt nobody. He'll probably also be on limited minutes. I can see possibly too. But I like Nas Reed, Vanderbilt, Patrick and Beasley. Those are guys I really like. And see, you can use those guys even to get away from Anthony Simons.
Yeah, like Russell's out and Towns is out as of now. Like you said, that could change, and that would completely derail Nas Reed. Like Nas Reed crushed last night. Still too cheap. The price is not adjusted. As far as the Clippers, by the way, for what it's worth, Marcus Morris has been smashing. He's still a 30% projection guy on FanDuel. Reggie Jackson, too cheap on FanDuel as well at 25% at 6K. And I'm going to get the question in a second. I just don't want to like completely neglect this. Pat Bev revenge game is 5-2 on DK. And again, that is somewhat contingent upon Russell being out and Towns being out as far as usage and all that kind of stuff, but he should play 30 or so minutes here. I don't know when we're going to know that, if we know that, but that is really interesting as far as the Cat thing, because have your pivots ready and pivot to Serge Ibaka or something like that, which is the worst.
Yeah, and I hate they didn't give me my Pat Bev first half prop because he owes me. Pat Bev 5.5 points first half, comes out against the stupid Lakers and drops 7. Oh.
Will, you got anything as far as that Minnesota Clipper game? Anything new? Anything else you want to say? You want us to get to the questions or what?
No, question time.
Real quick.
All right.
I like Reggie Jackson on DK as well. He's going to be low on over there. I think he's a sneaky play with a lot of upside next to Marcus Morris.
If Cat is out though, Nas Reed season for what it's worth.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if anybody paid attention last night. Good God. We talk about LeBron at center. Nas had like 27 and 12 or something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
I don't know. Slamber wants to know who's going to be the late scratch tonight. I don't know. The Clippers are on an island game for what it's worth. I like seeing them on island games. I don't trust them on back-to-backs, but
the late scratch.
I have no idea. I don't have a
Luka Doncic.
All right, Alexander. This is for you, Andre. DK tournaments. Can we bring back LaMelo Beasley on a bounce back? 2.7% predict. Yeah, is that the same person? Did they call him LaMelo Beasley?
I've never heard him call LaMelo Beasley, but yeah, he's definitely a run back on with Beal for sure. I love it.
All right. Beat the score on FanDuel is still a thing. I didn't know that was still a thing. I've not played that in a long time. So basically, this is like for an optimal number. You want to have which one of these two? Which one of these pairings here, Will? You want Tate and Harden or Trae Young and Marcus Morris? Ooh.
I'm assuming they're talking about Deshaun Tate. Give me Tate and Harden today.
Also, Blev, you've been randomly selected. I'm not really sure. That's a question from Blev. If Devin has contacted you, just said, we've been trying to encourage people to join our Discord here, and we're randomly giving away 1 week free of RG Premium. And Devin's going to go ahead and reach out to you. So congratulations to you, Blev. You get 1 week free of RG Premium. Again, join the Discord here. Does not cost you a thing. Rotogrinders.com/Discord. Join the live stream chat as we're going on to the show. Also hang out in Chiefs Prop Shop. That is another non-premium channel. For whatever reason, not premium. More questions. Andre, who do you want to fade between Anthony and Pat Bev? Well, I think you made that clear. You want to fade Anthony, right?
That was very, very, very clear. Simons gets the fade.
Flores Mark, this is for you, Andre, as well. We didn't really talk about him, but he's kind of sort of popping to some degree. Coffee, Amir Coffee for the Clippers. How do you feel about him? 4.3K on DK.
I like him. I have him. I don't have my player pool right now. I'm about to actually insert him back in. I just want to see the starting lineup. That's going to determine for me how much I'm going to have of him or not.
Pick two for cash, Will. Pick two of these for cash. LaMelo, Harden, and Ja. Well, it's got to be at least Harden.
Oh, Harden and Ja, for sure. Harden and Ja.
Who's going to pull a Facu Campazzo for the 76ers tonight? I don't know. Campazzo's like...
Oh, I know. I know who it's going to be.
Okay.
It's Furky Korkmaz.
All right.
I'm serious. I'm serious. He's not going to score 60, but 35 is, reasonable.
They want to know who my guy is tonight. My guy, it's Bradley Beal, man. I love Bradley Beal tonight. That's not like sexy or outside the box or whatever, but I just think I'm going to have a ton of Bradley Beal. I think he's an awesome play this evening.
For what it's worth, RG has Beal projected at 10.97 assists, for what it's worth.
Yeah. What is his ownership projection? Is it too high? I hope it's not too high. It's the first game too, but I'm going to lock in those 60 points. What is it?
23% right now.
I'm good with that. Can we brew up a pot of coffee for GPPs? I don't know because they don't want to play Ibaka, right? Like they clearly don't want to play him, but they kind of have to play him some.
This changes everything. Nurkic is now going to play Monday.
Oh, okay. So Larry Nance, if you're considering him, that's a big hit.
Oh man, guess what? I got in a Larry Nance under first half fantasy point prop. He doesn't hit it. He doesn't hit it with Nurkic out. Oh my God. I'm telling you, man, I love it when a plan comes together. 18. Yes.
We do have to step aside and get out of here. Congratulations in advance for that winner. Crunch time. They're going to break down that by Portland news. I'm going to pass it on them.
Stuck that in. That's good, D.
Eddie Means back on vacation. Hey, I would be happy to break that situation down, but we're up against the bell. Devin's, he's telling us we got to go. We got to wrap this bad boy up. If you guys are premium members on Rotogrinders.com, you know where to go to check out Crunch Time, take you guys straight up to lock, break out any news that has not been broken just yet or what just broke right now and all that good stuff. And you get your questions answered there. Whatever we did not answer, we apologize. And Andy will knock out that question as well. Do hit that like button on your way out and the subscribe on the old YouTube. Subscribe, turn on those notifications so you know when we go live. Going live later on tonight, talking the showdown slate for NFL. Ben Roethlisberger's very last game at home for Pittsburgh. Solitary tier. All right. That is Will. That was Andre. Devin producing. Thank you all for watching. Good luck tonight. Smash it. We're out of here. Oh!